Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the Self-Care Summit, Finding Ways to Cope in the Midst of Global Crisis. Today is day number 6. My name is Melanie Wood. My business is Solis Massage and Mind Body Therapy, and I am residing, and my business is in Elmira, New York. Also in Elmira, New York is a person that I adore and love so much. She's a mother figure to me, and my heart is beating so fast and is so full of love just to have her on with me. Margie Rodgers, could you please introduce yourself?
Oh, Melanie, I would only do this with you. I adore you back, and we have a long history, and you are one of those wise women that we can have deep, deep conversations with. So I'm happy to be here with you.
Thank you. And I have to say right back at you, you're one of my teachers, Margie. So
Ditto, ditto.
thank you. Thank you. So do you want to say anything about who you are in the community? You're local to me and I know wwho you are, but can you tell us a little bit?
I'm just an ordinary person, like everybody else. I was born and raised here. I've had a business, a massage business. It was called New Day. And I'm now I do a lot of things. I am a meditation instructor and meditation leader, River's Edge Meditation, which I started with Seamus Kennedy. We do that at Live Well. I'm also a life and death coach, an end-of-life doula, and mostly what's so exciting is our friend Marjorie Hamilton and I.
Another amazing woman.
Yes, indeed. Started death cafes a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I co-facilitate death cafes.
Those are important up and coming concepts from what I hear. I've attended a couple of them, and it's amazing to really take a good hard look at mortality and all of the belief systems we have around it and why it seems like it's taboo, and there's so much more involved. And um, your brochure, I know it says it's not a grief group, it's not a counseling group, it's nothing like that, but how many of us just take the time to look at our mortality? I bet quite a few people are looking at that right now.
I was going to say, I would think that it's kind of a hot topic right now, but not a pleasant one.
Right.
It's easy to look at when you know it's really far down the road, but when it's pressing up against, or possibly pressing up against your timeline, it can be quite scary. But the purpose of it is to bring the idea of death out of the darkness and into the light, so
Mm-hmm.
that you realize, because some people think death is optional. We're all going to go someday. And so it really is a good way for you to look at, if you know that you're going to die, how would you live differently right now? What would you be doing different? How would you change? And the funny thing is most people that I've been talking to lately, there's been a theme saying, once this virus is over and it's under control, I'm going to change a few things in my life.
Oh, once it's over with.
Yeah,
Oh, what
yeah,
about right now, Margie? They should start right now.
exactly. Well, this is kind of pushing some people, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my favorite thing, is it's not about dying, it's actually about living.
It
So
certainly is. It certainly is.
living
But
right now.
these are really tenuous times, and it's almost too hard to look at for some people, myself included. Even though this is my, this is my shtick. This is my thing. This is what I like to encourage people to do. It's a little too close for comfort. So
It is,
I think self-care is really important right now.
yes. So say more about that, Margie. How is COVID-19 impacting you in your life and the people that you love?
Well, I have some siblings that are facing, cancer, that have had cancer, that still have cancer, and getting treatment for cancer. And so I'm being very careful about making sure that my house is clean, doing all the things that any smart person would do. I'm staying in. I'm not going out. I'm getting my groceries delivered.
Hmm.
But I'd say the biggest help for me right now is my meditation practice. I think that people really have to have a proper relationship with their mind and know when their mind is carrying down the stream and over the waterfall and just like screaming over the cliff, you know?
Yeah.
So when I notice that I start making up stories, I'm really trying to bring my mind back to the present moment.
Yeah.
And it, mhm,
That feels like a very simple explanation of what meditation is bringing your mind back to the present moment. There might be some people watching the video later on that have no idea how to even begin meditation. So I love that simple
mhm.
explanation.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe we should do a Zoom beginner meditation class.
There you go.
Yeah,
We have all the time right now.
we sure do, and we have the technology. So hey,
Hey, I'm
okay,
too busy.
yeah. So I feel like my first responsibility for the world and to myself is to bring myself back to the present moment and don't allow myself the monsters in my head to take charge, to take the wheel. So
Mhm.
I'm just like, okay, hang tight, Margie. That's a story I'm telling myself. You're telling yourself that this is going to happen and this is going to happen and it's mega crisis. There is a crisis going on.
Mhm.
And I think that, we do have to think about that, but we have to think about it in the proper way.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love the idea of um, regret is from the past and worry and anxiety are about the future.
Right.
If you could find a way to like snuggle in between those two and stay there for even a second, how peaceful that moment can be.
Yeah, right. Well, the funny thing is as my teacher, Pema Chodron says, is that the wisdom and the ease and the peace is always there. It's completely covered up.
Mm,
And her suggestion is that you go to your breath because your breath is always there. It is always your friend. And you just be with your breath just for a few breaths. You just pause and breathe. Breathing's really important.
I like breathing a lot. Yeah.
Me too. I'm very fond of it. So, you just breathe and let it drop you into the present moment, out of your head, into your body.
Yeah. Now, when I first started meditating many, many years ago, I thought I had to change my breath. I thought I had to do deep belly breathing and focus on it and count it. But over the years, I'm like, I don't have to change my breath because if I try to just acknowledge it and be aware of it, then that tells me the truth about what I'm feeling. If
Right.
it is a little bit more in my chest, then I'm like, whoa, that is fear. Or if I'm able to take a clearer breath, I'm like, oh, I'm open to receiving, I'm open to love right now, or something like that. So does
Yeah.
Pema talk about that at all? Anything like not
Yeah.
trying to change anything?
Yes, she does. As a matter of fact, I have so many stories I could tell you, but I'll tell you this one. She tells a story about how when you're feeling when you have feelings, and your feelings are in your body. I mean, this is why it's feeling. You're feeling. So you're here and you're telling yourself all kinds of stories. You can drop into your body and feel it and you turn towards it instead of away from it. You really have to open your heart up to yourself and your feelings as though you're dealing with a bullied child. And
Really?
you wouldn't yell, yeah, you wouldn't yell at yourself going, why are you feeling that way? Cut it out. Although many times we do.
That's what
Well,
I do.
she advises you not to do it, even though we all do it. Let's put it that way. So you just really, you hold yourself, oh my goodness, you're feeling fear right now. And she tells a story about her friend when she was in grade school who was always having nightmares and how somebody was chasing her friend in her dreams. And it was a recurring nightmare. And she never got sleep. And so she asked her friend, well, who's chasing you? What does it look like? And the little girl said, I don't know. And so she had the idea to turn around and look at it. And once the next time she had the dream, she turned around, looked at it, and it was a clown that kind of deflated and just went away, and she never had the dream again.
Wow.
So if you face your fears and you face your feelings and just look upon them kindly, because really kindness is like the best thing that you can give yourself in anything in
Yeah.
this world.
Yeah, self-compassion. It seems a lot of people that I talk to, my clients, my friends, anybody, self-compassion is one of the hardest things to learn how to give. And I don't think it's actually a learning process. It's just it's a stopping process.
That's a good way of putting it. I'm still learning about it because, the way I grew up, self-compassion, there was no room for that.
Mhm.
There was, it's usually replaced with shame and regret and fill in the blanks.
Mhm.
But I do believe that we can learn to be self-compassionate if we can just feel what we're feeling and not try to reject it.
Yeah, that's so important now.
And
It's
not
so
get carried
important now.
Yeah, and not let it carry you away down the river and over the cliff either.
What's
Yeah.
Emma's book about that? Something about don't bite the hook, or
Yeah, don't bite the hook.
is that
Yeah.
I got it right? Okay.
Yes.
I read
Yeah,
that.
very
You
good.
gave me
Yeah,
that book many, many years ago. That's probably 10 years ago now that you gave me that book. Um,
yeah.
yeah, it's important not to get carried down the river, but some of the other topics that have been coming up in these interviews is offering grace and offering it's okay to feel fearful right now. It's okay to be worried. It's okay to wonder about, am I going to get sick? Is my body going to hold out in this? Is my immune system strong enough? Is my family going to be okay? Many of us have friends and family that are in the front line, so we have a place in our heart for holding on to a little bit of worry about that.
Yeah.
Um, what do you say about allowing yourself some time to be in that worry place? What do you think? Is that a right thing to do or not?
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's also really important to realize when you're hooked. When all of a sudden you are really being over. Sometimes we catch ourselves and we're in the throes of it, and it's hard to find our way out. But
Mhm.
if you can just go, I'm hooked, and just take a moment with it and listen to the feeling. Don't take action with it. Don't yell at somebody or kick something or, you know, I think it's okay to kind of, melt into a puddle and weep if you need to. I actually think that can be really helpful.
I
But
did
if,
that this morning.
yeah, I have certainly done it.
Yeah.
So really taking the time with yourself. I think that we as humans, we just really want to be understood.
Mhm.
Whatever it is that we are feeling, we just want somebody to understand us. And we should give that to ourselves.
Mhm.
We really have to say, oh my gosh, I'm so scared right now. I'm so scared for my brother. I'm so scared. I'm so afraid for my sister. I can't be with my daughter. Oh my gosh, just really allow it. Don't shut it up, because if somebody came to you and was saying that, you wouldn't have them shut up.
No, you'd let it run until it felt complete for them.
You would listen. And
Mm.
so you listen to your own heart. It's the best way you can take care of yourself and
Well,
others.
I have to ask though, like there's all that permission there, and permission is a really big word. Um, how do you get out of it once you let yourself be in it though? Like how would somebody say, okay, I'm in it, I'm listening, I'm recognizing it? Is it just an automatic thing that happens when they say, okay, that's done now, I let myself have that time? Or I know that there's some folks that are maybe suffering from depression or suffering from anxiety, actual true diagnosis of anxiety, that can't find their way back out of that worry state. What do
Mhm.
you have advice wise for them?
Oh, well, it would be hard to give advice when I don't know the specifics,
Sure.
but having a friend
Hmm.
is really important.
Yeah.
Somebody who will listen. There's medicine, there's meditation. And I think that each person I think that there's a path within and through. I mean, you go in, but you also go through to the other side. I think that everyone has their own path, and it might take, it might look very different for everyone.
Hmm.
So everyone has their own path. Taking the time to find out what it is
Mhm.
is a luxury that we are afforded right now in these times.
Absolutely.
So I say, do it. I do believe that meditation helps. It isn't the be all end all for everyone. And sometimes meditation can be horrifically boring.
Yeah.
And you just got to keep it, you just got to keep it. And it is building a relationship with yourself.
That's why they call
So,
it practice.
pardon?
Why they call
That's
it
what,
practice.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's a road down, but it's also a road through.
right. I'm inspired because there's certain monumental times of my own life that I associate with you because you were there for me in those times. And through another part of my life, back when I was, I don't know, 9 lifetimes ago, maybe nine recreating myself ago. um, you gave me a book called Feeding Your Demons,
Oh,
where, do you remember that book? Yeah.
yes, I
And
do.
that book, it's once you're in the crux of feeling, look at my shoulders, look at my chest, like we feel this way all day long sometimes. Once you're in the crux of feeling this, allowing this golden elixir to come down and just feeding that, just imagining it's this hungry demon, hungry beast inside of you that just wants some attention and some love, and letting this, I imagine it was like pudding because I really like pudding. But golden pudding coming down and just filling it up, and giving it exactly what it wanted. And that changed it. It made those sensations of feeling prickly and fearful just a little bit less. It dissipated. And yeah.
And yeah, normally these demons that I say, in I experience, they're self-created.
Yeah.
I really created them. I mean, this took a lot of work, many years of work to realize this. But for me, I created them because they were protecting something within me that
Yeah.
was much more vulnerable. And so I think it's good now when I feel this coming up, and my monsters coming up and scaring. I ask myself, what's important? What's important? What's underneath this? What's being protected? What's important that needs attention?
Mhm. Or how is this serving you is one of my
Yeah.
favorite questions.
Or how is this monster serving you?
Mhm.
Yes,
It's there,
absolutely.
it needs
Great.
to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I would never, sometimes people want to like shoo away their fear. I say invite it in. Have tea with it. Have a conversation with it, because it has something to teach you. It has something to say to you. What is it wanting you to know? Good questions.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I don't know if you can hear it through my monitor, but there's children that are walking around outside screaming and laughing gleefully right now.
Oh,
So,
good. All right. Just what the world needs. We really do need that. Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
That's another thing, like one of the things that Pema had recently published is that this is a very frightful time for everyone. And um, kindness and compassion really are the order of the day, not just for yourself and all your demons, but for all your good parts, and the children outside and the birds and your neighbor and even the people you don't like, because you really don't know what's going to be happening.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I say I live for the walks that I get to take outside. It's my little escape is, oh, I get to go outside today. Yeah, I'm trying to go out once a day, whether it's snowing or raining or the sun is shining. And anytime I'm out in the midst of all of this, this is one of the only times I've ever seen other people out and about walking, playing with their kids, walking their dogs, smiling, laughing, holding hands, looking at each other with love. I mean, I really think that this time is bringing into perspective our relationships and our ability to communicate and connect with each other. And oh, I mean, it brought little tears to my eyes just to sit back and just stand in place for a little while, 6 feet apart, of course, and, and just look at everybody relating with each other with love and
Yeah.
kindness and playful glee. I mean, that's just it was an amazing thing to witness. So it's not all fear right now.
Exactly. And it's very interesting that you did that, Melanie, because as you were talking about that and you saw the children and you described what it was like seeing them, you brightened up. Your mood, you lifted, everything became shiny and happy. And I think that that's an important thing. Another important practice that all can do is notice, wow, what is happening in our lives that's really good right now.
Mhm. What's happening that's good in your life right now?
Well, I'm spending a lot of time with my brother who normally lives in New York City, but he's here now. We got him out before, the virus really hit. And I get to talk to my granddaughter Maisie on Zoom. What did people do in the old days before computers? So I get to play games with her. We had a bowl of ice cream together last night. you know, um, I'm with my dogs right now, who's right at my feet. And, my husband and I are having the opportunity to have deep conversations. I talk with my sister all the time. I'm taking care of things in my house that I wanted to take care of, but never had time to do. So, I mean, I have a long list. I try to be grateful
So
for all things.
you are practicing creating gratitude lists, aren't you?
Well, sometimes I'm really bad at it. I will admit. I'm a mixed bag, as we all are.
We
But
all are, definitely.
so I'm just trying to really befriend wherever I am in any given moment on any given day.
Yeah, we're only human. And
Yeah.
being able to be authentic no matter what that looks like is one of the things that I do admire about you.
Oh, you are wonderful. Yeah, you are wonderful.
All right. Is there any last message that you'd like to just put out to the community, the world?
I think now is a good time we all have broken hearts. And as Leonard Cohen says, there's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. And I think that that's how the love gets out too.
Hmm.
So even though we're all very brokenhearted, we are all suffering losses. It's global. It's global. But we're one human family, and we really need to support one another and just share the love. Let the let the love flow. We're all broken. We all have broken hearts. That's what I mean. We all have broken hearts, and kindness and love is really the best medicine right now.
It is. And we're all going to express those broken hearts in different ways. And it's not always just going to be tears. Because
Correct.
I think that's so important to recognize is some people are angry and some people are overzealous in giving and doing to avoid their own broken heart. And it shows up in so many different ways. So
Yeah.
no matter who it is in front of you, know that they do have something happening right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can't help but give a call out to all the heroes, the healthcare workers,
Mhm.
the people in Wegmans and Aldi's, and the people who are delivering, groceries and doing. I got takeout at Rye the other day, and the manager brought it out with a smile, with gloves, but she, put it in through the back window, so we had our but it was cheerful and happy. And so, if we have it in us, let's share it as they are.
Absolutely. I've had that same experience with anybody that I've had to have any kind of contact with. We're all just trying to stay positive, and that's amazing to witness because it would be easy to break right now.
Yeah. Thank you for your service to the community, Melanie.
Thanks.
Not just now, always. So I bow to you, your
Thank,
big, beautiful heart.
thank you. Thank you. And thank you for agreeing to do this. I know that this is not a normal thing that you do. You're usually quieter and in your little groups, your meditation groups and your workshops. And so I am so grateful that you hopped on to Zoom with me today, as it is the only way that we can actually connect right now.
Yes, really.
um, all right. I think we'll say goodbye to our audience then. Do you want to do a shout out to a Facebook page or anything like that before we hang up?
Sure. River's Edge Meditation is on Facebook, and Elmira Death Cafe. Yeah, and if you want some cool quotes, you can go to Pema Chodron Foundation's Facebook page. He's always posting quotes. Yeah.
Excellent. All
Yeah.
right. Thanks again, Margie. That's Margie Rodgers. And thank you all for sticking with this and watching video number 6. Stay tuned for video number 7 coming out tomorrow. Be safe, be well for now.
Bye.